got here is the Eibach Pro kit for the TRD Pro 4Runners. Got all the stickers. This looks like a rear spring. Got the front springs painted red to match the box shocks. The other front spring. And also going to be throwing on some 285/70 R17 Nitto Ridge grapplers. So I'm going to start off by installing these front springs first. So first thing we need to do is get it up in the air and get the wheels off. So the wheels are off. Now I'm going to remove the front skid plate. Alright, so now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to loosen this nut, pull that bolt out. I'm going to loosen this bolt, but not pull it out, just needs to be loosened along with the other side. We're just going to loosen that nut. And what I'm going to do is we're going to undo this ball joint down here. It's just 2 bolts, and we're going to swing this whole control arm down. And once that control arm's down and out of the way, I'll be able to undo these top 3 nuts up here, and this whole strut assembly should come right out the bottom. I've got the shock out of the truck now. Here they are compared to the new Eibach springs. Let's see, they're a bit taller. It's supposed to give you 1.6 inches of lift. And I didn't see a height difference or anything. The part numbers look the same. So I don't think it matters which side it goes on. So now I'm going to get started disassembling this strut. Alright, I am taking this apart at home, so I've got this ring compressor tool you can rent at AutoZone, O'Reilly's, whatever. It just barely fits between these coils, so I would definitely use a lot of caution if you're going to try this yourself at home. I've almost got this spring off, and we'll see how it goes getting the new springs on. Both the TRD spring and the Eibach spring sitting here side by side. Did run into a little bit of an issue. The tool here kind of rubbed the shock body a little bit, but it's just a little bit cosmetic. Other than that, I got it all apart, and I'll go back together with the new Eibach spring. Alright, so here I am. I didn't like how the other one was working, so I went to work and grabbed a different spring compressor. It's worked 100 times better. Got both sides done. Springs are on the struts, so it's time to install them. The problem with the other compressor here, once I uncompressed the new Eibach spring, there was almost no way to get that out. I had to pry the spring a little bit and barely got the pieces out. So definitely recommend you get a proper spring compressor or take it to a shop, which I tried stopping by something like Meineke on the way to work, and I think they saw me pull up in that piece of junk, and just the look on their face just told me they didn't want to have anything to do with me. Told me they were too busy to spend maybe 10 minutes on my strut. So I was hoping to at least get you guys a price if you were doing this on your own and wanted to pull the strut out and take it to a shop, but they kind of just turned me away. Easier too. Yeah, so I'll get to reinstalling the front struts and then we'll start on the rear springs. Alright, now I've got it back on the ground, the wheels are torqued. There's a noticeable difference now between the front and the rear. Tightened all three the nuts up there, along with the lower ball joint bolts. I waited for the car to be on the ground again before I tightened up the lower strut bolt and these control arm bolts, so the bushings in there can settle in this state. I'll get to tightening those on both sides, and then we'll get started on the rear. Got the truck done here. Got the back end back on the ground. Everything went a lot smoother than I thought it would. Had a buddy, Alex, stop by. Gave me a hand. All we did in here, we undid the sway bar link right there. Then you go underneath. You just undo the bottom of the shock, and just from that we were able to get the spring out, push down on the axle a little bit, and it slides right out. New one slid right in. And here it is back on the ground. suspension's all done, everything's installed and good to go. I think I'll save it for the next video for when we install these tires and see what it takes to get them to fit. Hopefully it doesn't take much trimming or anything.